Aaron lived alone near the edge of the dead forest. The colony used to be busy many years ago, but now only a few people remained. Most left after the mining companies disappeared. The land became quiet, cold, and dangerous. At night, strange creatures came from the forest. They stole food, broke machines, and sometimes attacked homes. Aaron survived by being careful. He fixed old tools, reused broken parts, and set traps around his small shelter. He did not like traps, but he needed them to live. For the last few weeks, something big had been moving near his camp. Heavy footsteps, broken trees, deep marks in the ground. Whatever it was stronger than anything he had seen before. So that night, Aaron built his biggest trap. He used old mining energy coils and placed them under the soil. When something heavy stepped on it, the energy net would activate and hold the target in place. It was risky. The device was old and unstable, but he had no better choice. After finishing, he went inside and waited. The night stayed silent. Too silent. The next morning, Aaron woke up to shaking ground. At first, he thought it was an earthquake. His tools fell from a wall, and dust dropped from the ceiling. Then he heard it, a deep sound like something struggling far away. The trap. Aaron grabbed his rifle and ran outside. As he moved closer, the shaking became stronger. Trees were bent. Birds had already flown away. The air felt heavy, like before a storm. When he finally reached the trap, he stopped walking. His mind could not understand what he was seeing. Inside the glowing energy net was not an animal. It was a woman, a giant woman. She was at least 3 times his height, lying on her side, breathing hard. Her long hair was covered with dirt and ash. Strange marks glowed faintly on her skin, like symbols or old scars. The energy net wrapped around her arms and legs, holding her down. Aaron slowly lowered his rifle. This was impossible. No human could be this large. No creature this strong should have been caught by his trap. The energy coils were weak. They should have failed instantly. But the giantess was not trying to escape. She looked exhausted. Her chest moved quickly as if every breath hurt. One of her arms had deep wounds, burned and torn, like something had been removed from it. Metal marks circled her wrists, as if chains had been there before. Aaron felt fear, but also something else. She did not look angry. She looked afraid. Her eyes slowly opened and focused on him. For a moment, Aaron froze. If she decided to fight, nothing could stop her. But she didn't move. Instead, she whispered something. Her voice was deep but weak, like someone who had not spoken in a long time. Aaron could not understand the words. He took one careful step closer. The giantess watched him, confused, then tried again. Her voice broke as she forced the words out in rough, broken language. "They coming?" Aaron frowned. "Ooh." The giantess's eyes suddenly moved toward the sky. Aaron followed her gaze. At first, he saw nothing, just clouds moving slowly above the forest. Then a small flash appeared far away, a light high above the atmosphere. Another flash followed, then another. Ships, very far, but moving closer. Aaron's stomach tightened. This planet was mostly forgotten. No ships came here without a reason. Behind him, the giantess tried to move, but the energy net tightened, sending sparks across her skin. She winced in pain, but did not scream. She only looked at the sky again, fear growing in her eyes. Aaron realized something important. She was not trapped because she was weak. She was trapped because she was too tired to fight. The ground shook again as she struggled to breathe. For a moment, Aaron thought about turning the trap off and running away. This was not his problem. Whatever was coming clearly had something to do with her. Helping her could mean death, but leaving her there felt wrong. The flashing lights in the sky grew brighter. The giantess looked back at Aaron, her voice barely a whisper now. "Hide or die." Aaron stared at the approaching lights, then at the wounded giantess lying helpless in his trap. Whatever was coming, it was already too late to pretend he had seen nothing. And for the first time in many years, Aaron realized his small, quiet life was about to end. Aaron stood near the trap, watching the lights in the sky grow brighter. His mind told him to leave. Trouble from space never ended well for small people living on forgotten planets. But when he looked at the giantess again, He saw fear in her eyes, not anger. She was not a hunter. She was hiding. The energy net continued to spark around her body. Each movement caused pain. Aaron knew the old coils would not last long. If they broke suddenly, the energy blast could hurt both of them. He made a decision. Slowly, he walked toward the control box buried near the rocks. His hand shook as he opened it. The device hummed loudly, unstable after holding so much weight for so long. The giantess watched him carefully. "You free?" she asked, her words slow and broken. Aaron nodded once. "Don't attack." She gave a small, tired shake of her head. Aaron turned off the trap. The energy net disappeared with a sharp flash. The giantess gasped as the pressure left her body. For a moment, she did not move at all. Then she slowly pushed herself up, sitting on the ground. Even sitting, she was taller than the trees around them. Aaron stepped back, ready to run if needed. But she only lowered her head, breathing heavily, trying to recover strength. Up close, Aaron noticed more details. The burn marks on her arms were not injuries from battle. They looked controlled, like something used to hold or control her. Thin metal scars circled both wrists and her neck. Chains. She had been captured before. "My name, Lyra," she said after a moment, touching her chest. Aaron hesitated, then answered, "Aaron." Lyra repeated the name quietly, as if learning it. A loud sound suddenly echoed from the sky. Both of them looked up. A distant ship crossed above the clouds, moving slowly. It was too high to see clearly, but its shadow passed over the land like a warning. Lyra's body tensed immediately. Her breathing became fast again. She tried to stand, but her legs shook. Fear filled her face, stronger than before. "They search," she said. "They always search." Aaron frowned. "Who are they?" Lyra struggled to explain. Her words were simple, mixed with gestures. Slowly, Aaron understood pieces of the story. Her people were rare. Giants born on high-gravity worlds. Strong bodies. Fast healing. The Empire found them long ago and turned them into weapons. Soldiers that could destroy cities. Lyra had escaped during transport. She ran before they could control her fully. Now, they want her back. Aaron looked at the sky again. The lights were gone for now, but he knew ships did not leave easily. "Why here?" he asked. Lyra looked around the empty forest. No people. No cities. Good place to hide. Aaron almost laughed at that. This planet was forgotten for a reason. A sudden mechanical sound interrupted them. A small drone appeared above the trees, moving silently. A red light scanned across the ground. Lyra froze. "They found," she whispered. The drone passed over Aaron's shelter in the distance, scanning slowly. It did not attack, only watched. Then it moved away toward the hills. Aaron's heart beat faster. If scouts were already here, hunters would not be far behind. He looked at Lyra again. She was strong, but weak from exhaustion. If the hunters came now, she would not survive. And if they searched the area, they would find him too. Aaron realized something important at that moment. Helping her was no longer a choice. He was already involved. "Come," he said quickly. "You can't stay here." Lyra looked surprised. "You help me?" Aaron picked up his tools and started walking toward the old mining tunnels near the forest edge. "I help us," he replied. Lyra slowly stood and followed him, each step shaking the ground slightly. She kept looking at the sky, fear never leaving her face. Far above the clouds, unseen by both of them, several small lights changed direction. The hunters were closing in, and this time, they were not just searching for Lyra. They were searching for anyone who helped her. The old mining tunnels were dark and cold. Dust covered the walls, and broken machines lay where workers had left them many years ago. Aaron moved carefully through the narrow path, holding a small light in his hand. Behind him, Lyra followed slowly, trying not to make noise, though every step still made the ground tremble. This place was forgotten by everyone. That was why Aaron chose it. He stopped near a large open chamber deep inside the tunnel. Old support pillars still stood strong here. The ceiling was high enough for Lyra to sit without bending too much. "You stay here," Aaron said. "Safe for now." Lyra nodded, but her eyes stayed fixed on the tunnel entrance. She was listening for something far away. Aaron noticed it too after a moment. Silence. The forest outside had gone quiet again. That was never a good sign. Night came quickly. Aaron returned to his shelter to collect supplies, while Lyra remained hidden underground. When he came back, he brought food, water, and old blankets. Lyra watched him with confusion, as if she did not understand why he was helping. Why? She asked softly. Aaron shrugged. Because someone should. Lyra looked down at her hands. They were large enough to crush stone, yet they trembled slightly. They make us fight, she said slowly. Fear makes us strong. Anger makes us stronger. That is why they hurt us. Aaron listened quietly. Lyra explained in broken words. Her kind grew stronger when stressed. The Empire used pain and fear to control them, turning them into living weapons. Cities fell because giants lost control, but Lyra had run away before that happened to her. I don't want fight, she said. I want quiet. Aaron understood that feeling very well. A sudden sound echoed from outside the tunnels. Not loud, not careless. Careful footsteps. Aaron immediately turned off his light. Both of them froze. The sound came again, metal touching stone. Slow movement. Searching. Hunters. Aaron's heart began to race. These were not soldiers crashing through the forest. Whoever they were, they moved like professionals. Lyra leaned closer to the ground, listening. Her eyes widened. Trackers, she whispered. They smell energy. Aaron cursed under his breath. The old trap must have left a signal. A faint blue light appeared near the tunnel entrance. Shadows moved across the wall. Someone, or something, was scanning the area. Aaron quickly led Lyra deeper inside, through a narrow side passage. The tunnel became tighter, forcing Lyra to crawl slowly. Dust filled the air, but it hid their heat and energy signatures. They waited in silence. Minutes passed, then the scanning light disappeared. The hunters had not entered yet. Later that night, Aaron returned to the surface to check his home. He stopped when he saw it. His shelter was destroyed. The walls were cut open cleanly, not burned or blasted. Tools lay scattered across the ground. Someone had searched everything carefully. In the center of the broken floor, a small metal device blinked with red light. A message. Aaron approached slowly. The device activated as he came closer, projecting a cold, artificial voice. Return the asset. Non-compliance will result in planetary cleansing. The message repeated once, then shut down. Aaron felt anger rise in his chest. This was his home. Small, broken, but his. Now it was gone. He looked up at the sky. A faint shape moved above the clouds, too large to be a scout ship. The real force had arrived. When Aaron returned to the tunnels, Lyra saw his face and understood immediately. They know, she said. Aaron nodded. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Finally, Lyra lowered her head. I leave. They stop hunting. Aaron shook his head. No, they already saw me. Leaving won't change anything. Lyra looked surprised. Aaron sat down on a rock, thinking he was not strong enough to fight soldiers or ships. But humans survived in other ways. By planning, by adapting, by refusing to give up. They hunt like predators, Aaron said quietly. So we stopped running. Lyra frowned. What do we do? Aaron looked deeper into the tunnels, where old mining paths twisted like a maze. A slow idea began to form in his mind. We make them hunt us, he said. Far above the planet, the warship adjusted its position, preparing for extraction. The hunters believed the Giantess was weak and afraid. They did not yet understand one thing. Humans were most dangerous when they had nothing left to lose. Aaron did not sleep that night. He sat near the tunnel entrance, drawing lines in the dust with a small metal tool. Old mining maps were spread beside him. Most of the tunnels were unstable now, but Aaron knew this place better than anyone. He had explored it years ago while searching for spare parts. Lyra watched quietly from the shadows. She did not understand his plan yet, but she could see something had changed in him. The fear was still there, but now it was focused. Humans did not always win with strength. Sometimes they won by thinking differently. These tunnels, Aaron said, pointing at the map, they don't know them. We do. Lyra leaned closer. You want fight? Aaron shook his head. No, I want them confused. The next day, Aaron began working. He collected broken mining equipment, old batteries, and damaged sensors. He placed small energy emitters across different tunnels, creating false signals. To the hunter's scanners, it would look like Lyra was moving in many places at once. He set traps too. Not deadly ones, but slowing traps. Falling rocks, collapsing paths, blinding light flashes. Things meant to delay, not destroy. Lyra helped carefully. She lifted heavy stones and blocked passages, following Aaron's instructions. At first she moved too fast, breaking more than helping, but slowly she learned control. Slow, Aaron reminded her. They expect anger, not patience. Lyra nodded. This was new for her. Her whole life, strength meant attack. Now strength meant restraint. For the first time, she felt something different. Choice. That night, the hunters entered the tunnels. Aaron heard them before he saw them. Soft steps, mechanical sounds, calm voices speaking in an unknown language. They were confident. To them, this was just another capture mission. The first hunter followed a false signal into a narrow path. The ground collapsed beneath him, dropping him into a deep mining shaft. Not dead, but trapped. Another hunter triggered a flash trap, his vision filled with blinding light. Lyra blocked the exit behind him, forcing him to retreat. The tunnels turned into a maze. Every time the hunters thought they were close, the signal moved somewhere else. Frustration replaced their calm movements. Aaron watched through old cameras, guiding Lyra through small signals and hand signs. They never attacked directly. They only moved, hid, and redirected. Hours passed. For the first time, the hunters were losing control. But then everything changed. A deep vibration shook the ground. Dust fell from the ceiling. The lights flickered. Aaron looked up, his expression darkening. That's not good, he said. Outside, a massive shadow covered the forest. The warship had moved into low orbit. Its engines hummed like distant thunder. This was no longer a search. It was a warning. A voice suddenly echoed through the tunnels, amplified by unknown technology. Asset recovery has failed. Final extraction begins. Lyra's face went pale. The destroy area, she said. No weaknesses. Aaron clenched his fists. He knew what that meant. The colony, the forest, everything gone. The hunters began retreating. Their mission was over. The ship would finish the job from above. Lyra stood up, fear turning into anger. The ground trembled beneath her feet. I stopped them, she said. I fight. Aaron stepped in front of her. No. She looked confused. If I don't fight, we die. Aaron shook his head. If you fight, you become what they want. Lyra froze. He pointed toward the tunnel exit, where faint light from the sky flickered. They think power solves everything, Aaron said quietly. So we show them something else. He activated an old communication console connected to abandoned colony networks. The signal was weak, but still alive. Lyra watched as Aaron began sending data. Recordings, images, everything he had seen. The chains on her arms. The hunter's message. The destruction of his home. You're telling others? She asked. Aaron nodded. Empires don't like witnesses. Above them, the warship paused its descent. Signals began spreading across nearby systems. Old colonies, traders, and independent stations received the broadcast. The story was no longer hidden. For the first time, the hunters hesitated. And in that moment, Aaron smiled slightly. Because humans were small. Humans were weak. But humans were very good at making sure the truth could not be buried. The tunnels were quiet again, but the silence felt different now. Aaron watched the old communication screen as weak signals continued to travel across space. The broadcast was slow, broken, and unstable, but it was enough. The message had already left the planet. Other colonies had seen it. Traders had copied it. Independent networks were sharing it. The truth was no longer hidden. Above the clouds, the warship stopped moving. Lyra looked toward the ceiling, listening carefully. Her body was tense, ready to fight if needed. She still did not fully understand what Aaron had done, but she could feel the change. They wait, she said softly. Aaron nodded. They're thinking. Empires were powerful, but power depended on control, and control depended on silence. If people started asking questions, if other colonies began to resist, capturing Lyra would become more trouble than she was worth. Minutes passed. Then the loud voice returned, echoing through the tunnels. Unauthorized transmission detected. Cease communication immediately. Aaron did not respond. Instead, he increased the signal strength, pushing the last of the station's energy into the broadcast. The screen flickered as more data uploaded. Proof of force control, images of chains, recordings of threats. Lyra watched him with confusion. You risk life for me? Aaron shook his head slowly. Not just for you. For anyone they do this to next. The ground trembled as the warship engines powered up again. For a moment, Lyra thought the attack was coming. Her hands clenched, ready to protect Aaron even if it meant losing control. But the attack never came. The vibration slowly faded. Aaron looked at the screen. The scanners above the planet were pulling back. One by one, the signals disappeared from orbit. The hunters were leaving. Lyra blinked in disbelief. They go. Aaron let out a long breath he did not realize he was holding. Yeah, looks like they don't want a war today. For the first time since he met her, Lyra smiled slightly. The fear in her eyes softened, replaced by relief. She was free. Days passed. The forest slowly became quiet again. The ships never returned. News from distant colonies spread through weak signals. People talking about the broadcast, asking questions about the Empire's actions. Some called Aaron brave. Others called him foolish. Aaron ignored all of it. He rebuilt part of his shelter using old metal sheets. Life slowly returned to normal, or at least something close to normal. Lyra helped when she could. She lifted heavy beams and cleared fallen trees. But both of them knew she could not stay forever. As long as she remained, the danger might return. One evening, as the sun disappeared behind the dead forest, Lyra stood near the edge of the clearing. I must go, she said quietly. Aaron nodded. He expected this. My kind still hunted. I cannot bring danger back here. Aaron looked at the ground for a moment, then smiled faintly. You don't have to run forever. Lyra looked at him. Maybe not. But not today. She knelt down, so her eyes were level with his. For someone so large, her voice sounded gentle. Humans are strange, she said. Small. Fragile. But you protect others even when you cannot win. Aaron shrugged. We win differently. Lyra smiled again. Then she stood, turned toward the forest, and walked away. Each step grew quieter until her figure disappeared between the trees. The planet felt empty again. Months later, Aaron was repairing a broken antenna when the ground shook once more. He froze. Slow, heavy footsteps approached from the forest. Aaron turned, half expecting danger. Instead, a familiar shadow appeared between the trees. Lyra stepped into the open clearing, stronger now, no longer afraid. She carried no chains, no wounds, only calm confidence. I told others about this place, she said. A safe place. Aaron laughed softly. So you're staying? Lyra looked at the sky, then back at him. Not hiding, she said. Protecting. And from that day forward, the Forgotten Planet was no longer alone. Because sometimes the strongest weapon in the universe was not power or fear. Sometimes it was a human who refused to look away.